Hello. The topic of the research is implementing role plays on TikTok to enhance oral fluency for college A2 English as a second language students. The agenda will cover 15 minutes and it will be about the introduction, the literature review, the methodology, the results, the discussion, conclusions, future research areas, and the bibliographic references. The objective was to evaluate the effectiveness of TikTok-based role plays in enhancing the oral fluency of A2 ESL students. The problem that the research identified is that the students often struggle with oral fluency, a critical component of language proficiency. In regards to the research gap, yeah, there is limited empirical evidence on the effectiveness of social media platforms, specifically TikTok. I mean, there are some studies that cover other platforms. Therefore, the justification, well, the growing of the use of social media. Now we are even more dependable on it. And the popularity always increasing. And the potential benefits is that utilizing TikTok for role plays can make language learning more engaging and relevant for students nowadays, aligning with their digital habits and preferences. In regards to the background information, we have studies like Hamad and Al-Nuzaili and Herwanto that support the integration of digital platforms. Um, the literature review, we have here 8 points, being number 1, the effectiveness of TikTok role plays. And as Doolittle and Hicks in their research, they mentioned that learners build their understanding and knowledge through experience and reflection. Therefore, the application of TikTok. Number 2, the role of technology integration in oral enhancement. This is very important, the last part where it says research insights, like the ones by Sosas and Lee that mentioned the necessity of teacher training and how to integrate technology, but like accordingly and like effective into education. Number 3, engagement and motivation. So also one, like in his study of 2022, he mentioned that the interactive activities boost engagement. All of these is like in relation to the constructivism theory. And also the assessment of spoken language progress. Well, we covered about the CEFR, which is the Common European Framework, and how the students at this level, A2, need these macro 5 skills, which is fluency, grammar, pronunciation, interaction, and vocabulary. A small talk to me was the AI speech test that they had to do a pre-test and then a post-test to see the increment and the enhancement. This is just like how the CEFR considers and mentions that the students at A2 level need to know, as in, for example, vocabulary, has a sufficient vocabulary to conduct routine everyday transactions involving familiar situations and topics. Here, for example, the studies by Susanto et al. 2023 advocate for regular constructive feedback and systematic assessment methods to enhance language learning outcomes, what we are looking for. The responsive curriculum, why TikTok? Because it's flexibility, its integration, and some insights like Belruz et al. That discuss the need for a dynamic and iterative development process in curriculum designs. Also, role plays as an educational strategy. Well, it has a practical application first and foremost. Role plays simulate real life scenarios, and also they promote collaborative learning, and also like some supporting research like Abdul and Togimin and Jafar highlight the benefits of role plays in improving speaking and listening skills. But we just covered the speaking aspect. Social media and language education, we have that, well, I mean, TikTok has 1.7 billion users and growing. Therefore, it offers significant potential for enhancing language learning inside and outside the classroom. And also, like TBLT as task-based language teaching, where I want to concentrate in the considerations. I mean, there are unscripted versus scripted, real versus unreal scripts. So we have to take into consideration the scenario type, the participation frequency, the format, the adaptation itself, and like the studies by Boers and Fais. Then these are the two questions that the research aimed to answer. Number one, how TikTok-based role plays impact the oral fluency of A2 ESL college students. And number two, how student perceptions within these roles plays affect their performance and engagement in an Ecuadorian higher education context. The methodology that we follow was through these 5 steps, designing the study being number one, the qualitative survey being number two, where the purpose was to explore students' confidence and perception. So the method was to conduct interviews with students to gain insights into their psychological and emotional experiences related to the intervention. This was like interviews that were in class, but then the survey was the main purpose. We have the quantitative assessment where we had this pre and post AI small talk to me test for acknowledging the baseline of the students. And then step number four, the intervention. We like the objective was to balance modern engagement techniques with structured learning environments to improve oral fluency. These tests, like this activity was during class and outside the class. And number five, outcome analysis, being how to identify proficiency gains in students. As I will share shortly, it was quite positive. Results, self-assess the speaking ability, just 14.3, which is very low, consider excellent. The majority is in this column of good being 35.7. This was no surprise. TikTok as the preferred social media platforms in this sample, specifically college students of Unive. This was they have between 18 and 28, but still, all of them selected TikTok. So the overall confidence, well, moderate confidence, as most students reported it, with just a few extremes. And also in regards to the speaking confidence, well, moderate confident, 32.1 out of this sample of 28 students, which is not that great, but these were the results. And social media effectiveness, yes, students perceive social media as a valuable tool for learning English. Um, in the preferred educational content graphic, we have that role plays are below tutorial videos, but above all the other options that contain the survey. And yeah, the impact of social media on confidence, the rating average was 3.32, where they like considered the respondents acknowledge at least a moderate influence by using social media. We have these orange self-perceived speaking ability graph, Dognut, that yeah, about the same as peers, 32.1 percent of the sample mentioned that they have like relative speaking ability as their classmates. Even though we have to consider that these students come from different backgrounds, different cities. The majority are from Quito, but this was quite interesting. And 5 macro speaking skills, just 10.7. Consider that in the parameters of interaction and fluency, they have like excellent skills. And in regards to social media usage frequency, yes, this was no surprise. Several times a day, 57.1, use social media multiple times daily. Um, this is our pre and post test, and it's very clear how here in fluency, in interaction, in grammar, in pronunciation, we have an enhancement here by 0.4, 0.4, 0.3, 0.4. These had no improvement, which is the vocabulary, and this serves as our discussion, but is maybe due to the nature of TikTok role plays, which focus more on fluency, pronunciation, and interactive skills rather than explicit vocabulary teaching. I gave them freedom to create or generate their scripts, and it was not so much the concentration of like these particular aspect macro skill to be gained, but these leaves quite a lot to other researchers. And in regards to the discussion, yeah, there were technological distractions, varying technology literacy levels. All of the students from this sample, they know how to use their cell phones quite good, but still, like noted by Putra and Nakatsuhara and Berry, it's important to also provide them constant direction and guidance. So there is need for additional support and further research, and the challenges in integrating technology into language learning is an important aspect. I mean, all of them were provided because the college provides internet, but still sometimes the devices were not working effectively to its like 100%. So the conclusions: pronunciation, grammar, interaction skills, motivation, engagement increased and improved, but vocabulary did not. Future research areas, we have that it can be like the studies can be done in other like digital platforms besides TikTok. For example, I don't know, Snapchat or the other ones that are now popular. The diverse student populations include students from different linguistic and cultural backgrounds, and also, for example, the content analysis, which mentions like real world versus fictional scenarios and so on. I do want to thank you very much for all your patience as well as your tolerance. If you have any question, I am more than happy and pleased to answer. Thank you for absolutely everything. It has been a privilege.